Hey there, welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair. This is Streaming Idiots. Yes, indeed, you are correct if you're saying, hey, Tom, something's wrong with your hair, dude. Yeah, yeah. My stylist said, come on, try something new. And I said, I wonder how it's going to do with chroma key. And she said, what? So we can see that it takes a little work. We'll have to see if, that's the thing. Curly hair, fuzzy hair, spiky hair, fluffy hair. It really gives chroma key a hard time. It really does. Really does. We'll try to work on that. I actually, I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a minute. So, really excited. So glad that you're here. If you're watching us live, I hope you'll join us directly at easternshorebroadcasting.com right down there. And you can get the chat. That's the cool part about it, because there are about, I don't know, 3 or 4 people over there right now. And they're chatting up a storm and having a good old time. And occasionally it's kind of fun because they'll type something all in caps, kind of like, Tom, your mic's broken or something. And they'll try to fool me. Yes. So see, Rich is now, and we're talking fashion now. Well, Rich, whatever it takes to keep you interested. Anyway, I'm so excited about so many things. We've got the NAB meetup coming up next month at NAB, the Streaming Idiots meetup. That's April 10th. You're probably tired of hearing about it, but it's a 7 o'clock gig at Scott Whitney's Podworks Studios there in Las Vegas. He's got 3 live streaming sets there in his studio, and we'll be using that area. Plus, there'll be refreshments out back, and it's going to be a ton of fun. vMix is one of our main sponsors, along with PTZ Optics. Magewell will be there. Jan will be there. PI Engineering will be there. That's the X Keys folks. And we have all sorts of fun giveaways. Some of it's beginning to show up here, and some of it'll be brought that day. So yeah, and there's no admission. Just come on. Just come on. We're guessing at how many folks will show up. So you'll see. But that's 7 o'clock on April 10th at Podworks Studios in Las Vegas. And if you're a member of Streaming Idiots, the Facebook group, it's an event there. So if you're not a member of Streaming Idiots, come join. And then you'll get a reminder of that event coming up at NAB. And we'll be doing the Streaming Idiots show from NAB on Wednesday the 11th. The folks at PTZ Optics have graciously allowed us to come over and use their set. So we'll be doing that. And I'll be there, of course, the entire week at the vMix booth in the South Lower Hall. I think the PTZ Optics booth is in the Central Hall. So you'll get some good exercise if you go back and forth between the two. My first time going to NAB, that's what I did. I went to the PTZ Optics booth, then back to vMix, and back to PTZ Optics, and back to vMix, and circled around some other things as well. But those were the 2 that I was really most interested in. Another bit of news is that for those of you that have upgraded your PTZ Optics Gen 2 cameras to NDI, congratulations. It's very, very cool. That's what we're using here today. If you have, if you've not done that and you want to, and you think you want to do it, and you're fairly sure you want to do it, you need to do it by Friday at 9 a.m. Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern time, because the prices will double. The regular retail price is $600. It's $300 between now and then. It is available in our store at easternshorebroadcasting.com, so you can go there. Hey, yeah, this is part of the infomercial. This is the commercial part. So you can go there and get it there, and we will send you a license, toot sweet. Let's see what else. It was really funny. Earlier today, I was doing some testing, and had 50 views and 2 likes. So thank you for those of you that popped in to view our testing and gave us some likes for it. That was pretty fun. Today's Pi Day. Yes, it is. Today is Pi Day 314. And also, just an update for those of you that follow this kind of thing, is that we have 3 PCs Oh yeah, that's right. Our part of the commercial part, okay? Infomercial, that's right. The commercial's really small. Here it goes. Part of what we do at Eastern Shore Broadcasting is we build PCs for folks to use in live streaming, specially designed with all the secret sauce and tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff that you probably pick up on this show if you've watched us for the last 4 years. All of that's in one box. You pull it out, you plug it in, and you start streaming. It's boom, it's ready to go. We just shipped one last week to the Virgin Islands to a wonderful church down there. We've got 3 more on the workbench right now. One is going, 2 of them are going to North Carolina. One of them is, golly, where's that 3rd one going? I don't remember. And then we've got 3 more that we are gathering components for, including one that will be at the vMix booth at NAB. It's going to be an Obsidian build that we're doing for Martin and Tim, for them to use at the vMix booth in Las Vegas at NAB. So if you'd like to know more about that, you can come see it at NAB, and this is the 2nd year that they've asked us to build PCs for them, so we're really delighted for that. And then we've got a great church in Oklahoma that's getting one of the ones that we're waiting on, and then another customer in North Carolina that's getting the 6th one. So if you think you're interested in a custom streaming PC or one of our off-the-shelf models, shoot us an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com. Go to the website, put in, go to the contact page and send us a note, however you want to. You can even pick up the phone and call, although we've had some trouble with our phones recently. Not sure. We lost like 40 voicemails. It was not a happy occasion. Anyway, that's the commercial part. We're all done with the commercial. All right, so what do we want to talk about? Well, yesterday in our vMix 101 class, we spent a portion of the class talking about something in vMix. Yes, that's what it was. It was something in vMix. Yeah, thank you. Everything in vMix is an input, except when it's an output. So all of your cameras and your microphones and your videos and graphics and PowerPoints and lower thirds and all of that stuff are inputs. But it's when you put it all together and you're going to do something with it, you're going to send it somewhere, then it becomes an output. In fact, you might send it to itself, but we'll talk more about that later. So vMix has got tons of ways to do outputs. The easiest way to understand output, of course, or the simplest output that vMix makes is the output window, the top right-hand corner window. Some people call it program in other softwares and things. Hey, does it cost money to go to this vMix class? Yes, it's $99 and it's 6 weeks and it's really good. And we'll be doing it again in mid-May, I think. Anyway, so we're talking about outputs yesterday. Outputs, well, the most common output is what you're seeing right now. This is vMix's streaming and recording output. So the streaming and recording output is the first output, but there are lots of other outputs. For example, vMix can send this output right here to Skype, or GoToMeeting, or Zoom, or any other kind of software kind of thing on the web or in the cloud that is expecting a webcam. In fact, you can send this right here to Facebook as a camera, and in vMix it's called an external output. Yeah, and if we were looking for it in Facebook, it would simply be called vMix Video. Oh, you want to see this stuff? Okay, let's take a look. All right, so the first thing we want to do is let's fire up an empty copy of vMix so you can see. All right, this is a second instance of vMix running on my same PC right here. And how about just for fun, we take an input. Do we have an Ndi input here that Yeah, we'll just pick that one right there. Well, we probably can't do that. So let's pick, that one won't work. You know, I should have thought this through. A lot of times I say, oh, this is a great idea, let's do it. Yeah, that's not going to work. So you just have to look at a blank screen. All right, but let's add a couple things to it. So we'll just add some images here. We've got one of a beauty pageant. I've got an image of, let's see, image. Oh, here's one of my buddies, Zach Adams. Interesting picture. Anyway, so we want to send, let's say we're going to send the beauty pageant out to Facebook or Skype or YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, like Zoom, something like that. We would simply use an external output. So we'll go to Settings. We'll go to Outputs/NDI. And I'll take my output 1 right here. Oh, you want, yeah, let's get oriented to this little menu. All right, so the menu is divided up. Let's say it's divided up into 4 parts. The first 2 lines are full screen. And if you say, oh, Tom, I don't have that. Well, you probably have vMix HD or lower. You probably just have 1 full screen. I've got the vMix Pro. vMix Pro and vMix 4K have 2 full screen outputs and 4 outputs in this center section, whereas HD and below have a single full screen output and 2 outputs, and then everybody's got the HDMI, excuse me, the NDI outputs and the multi-view layouts. So the 2 full screens, and currently I am sending full screen number 2 to the multi-view. So I've got a 55-inch TV across the way that allows me to see all my preview and my output, as well as the first 8 inputs at a glance, and that's multi-view. But let's say we're going to set output number 1 to output, so that looks like it's set correctly. We'll close that, and we'll just turn it on. So now we can go into Skype or Zoom and find vMix Video and bring in the dancing girls. Yes, they're right there. We can also, let's turn it off for just a second. If we hit the settings button next to external, we can go to the output NDI settings where we just were, and I'll close that out. Or we can go to the other external output settings, and we'll talk about that in just a second. And we can also go to output 2, 3, and 4, and we can reconfigure those for anything that is in our vMix setup. So we've got output preview multi-view, and then since we only have 2 inputs in this example, we've got inputs 1 and 2 right there, and then I've got the same options in output 3 and output 4. Let's see. Let's sharpen this up so you can see it a little bit in case it's not clear enough. Let's go back to, let's go to this one. So we've got the ability to do full screen. Now what is full screen? Well, full screen is basically a monitor that's attached to your PC. It could be a projector, could be an LED wall, could be a video matrix, you know, a Blackmagic router of some kind. But basically anything that's attached to your graphics card can go full screen. So currently I've got a full screen on my 3rd monitor on my graphics card, and we're going to come back to that, you know, 3rd monitor look here in just a second. So full screens are monitors. Outputs can be virtual, that is picked up by Skype or Zoom or somebody like that as if it were a webcam. Outputs can also be NDI. So I can take a particular, let's take output channel number 2, and we're going to say that we want input number 2, that's my picture of Zach Adams, to be available on NDI. So if I go back into my primary production, and we'll look at that, well, let's look at it right now. Let's look at it right now. So we're going to save that, and we'll come back into this production. Let me get a quick desktop capture here. this display. There we go. And so this goes off to infinity, of course. And number 62, I don't know that you can make it out, but this is my second vMix instance right there. And you can see the picture of Zach right there. And this is my first instance of vMix right here, the production. So let's go and see if we've got Zach Adams available as an input to us. Let's see, is that it? No, that's not it. Well, maybe I outsmarted myself. That happens on occasion. So it would be this camera, clock intensity probe. Huh. Output 1, output 2. Is that it right there? Nope, that's not it. Well, I had it working earlier. Obviously, I've done something different this time. We'll have to come back. I'll tell you whatever it was that I broke. We'll fix it. So let's just go back to this look for just a second. And what I thought I was doing was making, in this second instance of vMix, I was making input number 2 available on NDI, but for some reason it's not picking it up. We'll try it again later. Additional NDI outputs, I can enable my cameras, vMix calls, and all the audio inputs to be available as NDI outputs, which means they're available as NDI inputs on other systems. And I can also take my audio outputs and make those available on NDI. And then I can change my multi-view layout. The one that's green right now has got preview and program, top right, top left, and then inputs 1 through 8 below it. This one that's green now is basically input and output is the first 2 boxes, and then 14 boxes that show the first 14 inputs. And then the 2x2 layout is input, is preview and output top left, top right, and then inputs 1 and 2. And then legacy is like the very first multi-view layout, except with different borders. Looks more like maybe a ATEM in that sense. The other outputs that we have are external outputs, and these would be, in my case, I've got 2 of them because I've got the Pro Edition. But in this case, I can use it as an external renderer. That is, I can send it to, in this case, I can send it to one of my 2 Intensity Pro cards, which are also the same thing as the deck link, and set it for NDI. And then when I click the external button down here, I have now made that video signal available on that Blackmagic card. So I can have that Blackmagic card do an output to a scoreboard or an LED wall, or a Blackmagic router, something like that. And we'll turn that back off. Let's go back into that section. This is also where I can do a second rendering, second output to another card. So depending on the number of cards, and it works with Blackmagic cards, it works with AJA cards. I think, is it Bluefish brand cards? There's some, and there's a whole list on the vMix website that tells you which ones will work as external renderers. So we'll just turn those off for now. The other thing that's interesting is the way vMix handles the full screen output to your monitors. And you can see the full screen right here. And I have the option, since I have, again, the higher version of vMix, of having 2 external outputs on the full screen. So if I have enough monitors attached to my system, I can send the output to vMix to monitor 1 and 2. Now, don't be confused by the fact that it says display 1 and display 2 right here. that's vMix nomenclature. That's vMix terminology. The displays from my computer are actually here on this drop down where it says display, and I can select which one of the monitors that I want to send, or excuse me, which one of the monitors I want to assign to either display 1 or display 2 in vMix. So for example, I know monitor number 3 is my 55-inch TV across the room. And if I'm going to assign that to display 2, when I go in and turn on full screen, it will project, and I wish you could see it, it will project the dancing girls, the beauty pageant girls, on the monitor across the way. I'll turn that back off and come back down here. And we'll go back to display. I can send display number 1. Again, that's display number 1 in vMix. That's the full screen number 1 in vMix, to monitor number 1. So I've got display 1 in vMix, full screen number 1, assigned to monitor 1. Display number 2, which is full screen number 2, assigned to monitor number 3. So when I come down and turn on external down here, excuse me, not external, when I turn on full screen, I now have full screen on, but on 2 monitors. Now we can look here and see that we've got display 1 is set to the output. Well, display 1 is the monitor to my left. Display 2 is the monitor across the room, and it's set with the multi-view. I could also assign it to a particular input. So now I'm looking across the room at Zach, and since the beauty pageant girls are in output, I can look at those gals over to my left on monitor number 1, and then I can turn them all off at one time. Now, what I can't do is I can't turn off one full screen without turning off the other. I can't turn off external 2 without turning off external 1 if we're talking about outputs to Skype or Zoom or something like that. So you can't selectively turn off, for example, in the same way right now, you can't selectively, if you're running 2 recordings simultaneously, you can't selectively turn off 1. If you're running 2 or 3 streams simultaneously, you can't selectively turn off 1. So that's an improvement I hope vMix will do, because I think a lot of folks can take advantage of that in ways that probably never were ever intended, but the ability to basically use vMix. I mean, yeah, it's live production software. It's live video switching, but you can also think of it as a, I guess switching is also routing. It just would be one more level of control that you would have over sending audio and video different places. It's one thing to live stream a show like this one. It's quite another thing to be in a basketball arena and do a live stream, but send an output to the Jumbotron in the middle of the room. That would be your instant replay. And then to send a copy of the live stream to all the TVs in all the private booths, private rooms there in the building or in the concession stand. vMix just has so much power built into it. It's really incredible, and I can't wait to see what Martin and company are going to do with it in the future. So that was a kind of a quick overview of vMix Outputs. If you have questions about that and you think I can help, shoot me an email, tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and we can take a look and see if we can't get you back on the right track or help you design a workflow that will do what you want to with vMix. Yeah, I guess we're about out of time here, aren't we? Sorry about that. Got off on a tangent, but it was a good tangent. So a big reminder: if you're at NAB, come on out and see us at the vMix booth in the South Lower Hall, Monday through Thursday. If you're there Tuesday night, please join us for the Streaming Idiots meetup. And if you're not a member of Streaming Idiots. You want to join that on Facebook. And then Wednesday, we'll be doing the Streaming Idiots show live from the floor of NAB Central Hall, the PTC Optics booth. It'd be great to have a good live audience there. That would be a lot of fun. Don't forget, too, that the PTC Optics Ndi upgrade, the 50% sale, 50% off sale, I guess it is a 50% sale. It works both ways with that one. It ends Friday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. So if you need to get orders in on that one, don't delay. It'll be worth $300 per each. And that's all I got. That's all I got. So if you're watching live, hang out for a while, because we're gonna be chatting in the chat room afterwards, and I'll take your questions. But if you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, thank you. If you're watching us on Facebook, we appreciate that, and we hope you'll join our Streaming Idiots group. If you're watching us on YouTube, we hope you'll subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our we hope you'll join our Streaming Idiots Facebook group. That's right. Somebody says we need to do outtakes. The whole show is an outtake. What are we talking about? So stick around, and we'll be right back after the closing. We ought to have some closing credits. That would be kind of fun. I'll work on that one. Oh, I know. One other thing about NAB is my longtime internet friend, Martin Kay from Zen Video in Manchester, England, will be at NAB and will be helping me run the Streaming Idiot show on Wednesday. We'll be there at the meetup on Tuesday night. I hope you will take time to meet him. He's a marvelous guy and very helpful, and really quality folks. It's neat to be associated with. It's nice to be associated with people smarter than me. Doesn't take much, though, does it? Anyway, big shout out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on Streaming Idiots, because you're going to tune in and watch. Yes, you are. Every Wednesday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. That's right. Wherever you are, just go back to Eastern time, and that'll be it. 3 o'clock Eastern time. So long. Well, we didn't botch that one up too much. Could have been worse.